I hate the gray-collared Becard. It's unfindable. Sometimes, the search for certain birds can be maddeningly challenging, to the point where you feel cursed to never see them. When we were in South Texas, we went to look for one of the rarest birds in the region, the gray-collared Becard, in what we hoped would be a somewhat quick stop. What we got instead was a rarity chase that spanned 3 days and over 20 hours. Hey everyone, this is Ryan and Derek from Badgerland Birding. We are here in South Texas today, and we are trying to find as many rare species for the region as we can. So we are starting at Resaca de la Palma, and we are on the search for 3 species that are considered rare for the region. Hopefully we can get all of these birds, but we'll see what happens. During this particular year, one of the hottest destinations in the Rio Grande Valley was Resaca de la Palma State Park. Here, 3 rare bird species have been seen over the past months, including multiple tropical parulas, a roadside hawk, and our top target for the day, the gray-collared Becard.
So the first order of business is to look for the gray-collared Becard. We're here as early as we could get here, so hopefully it's active and we're able to locate it. There's already a couple other people here. We're going to start by the center, walk around the parking lot, and then take this tram trail that leads to a dry Resaca. So those are all kind of the areas we're going to look for any Becard activity. Hopefully it's a gray-collared.
The gray-collared Becard had a reputation of only making appearances in the morning, so we knew if we were going to see it, it would have to be early in the day. We looked around the parking lot, checked by the feeding station next to the main building, and walked the tram trail, finding some expected species. After searching for a bit, we got news that one of the rare birds in the area was being seen.
We just got a report that the Roadside Hawk is hanging out in the Resaca. We're going to walk down the tram trail, hopefully get Ryan his life for Roadside Hawk while also looking for the Becard.
We ventured to the spot where the hawk was being seen, and quickly spotted it a fair distance away, but close enough for us to identify. Got him. So that's a new lifer for the day. That's good. It was flying around the dry Resaca, and then it flew out of view, but maybe it'll come back. But got to look at it. It's a cool bird. First lifer of the day. Our happiness over getting the roadside hawk was short-lived, however, as just a few minutes later, we missed out on a chance to see the Becard.
We unfortunately had a you just missed it moment. We rounded a corner, so a huge group came over, and they said it perched up the gray-collared Becard, and then it flew back. So a bunch of people were all excited and left, but a lot of us that didn't see it or want better views are still here. They're also doing some construction over here, which I'm sure doesn't help. But we're really hoping that this bird pops up again and we're able to get a view. It's tough because it doesn't really have a pattern of what it does. It has certain areas it seems to be found in more often, but it's not like it comes to a feeder at a certain time or anything like that.
With construction noises now cutting through the sounds of the South Texas birds, we continued walking back and forth on the tram trail, knowing that the Becard must still be around. Eventually, we decided to split up, and while we were on opposite ends of the park, I was in the right place at the right time to see another life bird. Got life bird for the day, number 2, the Tropical Parula, with a flock of titmice and other small birds, and I got a brief but good look at it to identify it as a Tropical Parula. It doesn't look like it has any white near the eye, which would indicate that it may not be a crossbreed between a northern and a tropical, which is great, but Derek didn't get to see it. So I'm hoping we can track down the flock again, but still no sign of the Becard. Derek arrived just minutes after the Parula had flown deep into the trees, meaning he was certainly not pleased with how the day was going.
Feeling trash. Missed the Becard, missed the Tropical Parula. That kind of day so far.
We pressed on, going from the blind near the visitor center, back to the tram trail, and everywhere in between. We did stop by the dry Resaca again, and this time got much closer looks at a bird we had seen earlier.
Just got some better views of the roadside hawk. It was perched up really nice across from the Resaca, but it's pretty windy, so we feel like that's probably not helping the Becard. Probably only got a couple more hours till it becomes really hard to find later in the day.
It's starting to look like this is going to be an ordeal, in order to find this bird, so we're gonna keep looking, but it's not looking likely anymore, and we'll probably have to come back another day and hope for the best then. After a few more hours of searching, we came up empty on finding the Becard.
We're feeling pretty dejected right now. I mean, we thought we had a really good shot this morning, especially when people had just seen it. You think for sure it's going to come back, but it's been super brief looks by anyone who's even seen it. And it's getting windy, it's kind of overcast, and it's just like overall pretty dead. We haven't run into that mixed flock again, so no chance for really Parula in there. At least Ryan got the Parula, but yeah, it's been pretty disappointing today. We're tired, so we're kind of just sitting. We'll probably get up and walk around again soon.
A day later, we went back to Resaca as the sun was coming up, hoping to have better luck. So we're here at Resaca again to try to find the Gray-collared Becard. Hopeful today, but yesterday I felt very hopeful going into it. It seems like this bird sometimes is only seen for seconds at a time and then does not show up for the rest of the day. So we have to be at the right place at the right time to get a look. We devised a plan to stake out the tram trail where others had had the bird the day before. On this morning, the bird activity was higher.
Things are starting to wake up this morning. You can probably hear the chachalakas making noise behind us. It looks like it rained a little last night. They're very vocal this morning. So hopefully as the sun comes out, the other birds get active, that Becard comes in for us.
Other birders had a similar idea as we did, with numerous people camped out on the trail waiting for any sign of the Becard.
We've accumulated quite the group of people, and we're all kind of hanging out in the same spot, just waiting for the Becard to come in. But we were saying it's tough because you could be at the right location and just not there at the right moment and miss the bird, and kind of everybody else might get it but you or something. That feels like that. So you kind of have to be not only in the right place, but at the right particular spot to see some of these South Texas rarities.
I decided to check out the area by the feeding station while everyone waited. Here, the bird activity was extremely high, and included some nice birds, such as Altamira orioles, black-crested titmice, and a rose-throated Becard. Not exactly the Becard we were looking for, but still a rarity in this area. After checking out the feeders in the surrounding trees, I returned to the rest of the group by the tram trail. Around 15 minutes later, someone said that they had found the Becard back at the feeding station. We all rushed over, but it was already too late. This was bad news, since the day before, the Becard only showed itself once, and if we missed it again on this day, our odds of finding it were slim. Nonetheless, we went back to keeping watch on the trail, and did have some excitement when a Tropical Parula gave us some excellent views. Well, you better at least be excited about this.
I'm pumped about the Tropical Parula. We just had a heartbreaking Becard experience where we were all on the tram trail. Someone came over and was like, it's preening above the feeder. We went over there and it was gone. We had a picture and it was definitely it. But Tropical is awesome. It looked like a pier, no white on the face. That's awesome. Let's get this Becard now.
After continuing to wander around Resaca, reinforcements arrived in the form of Justin LeClaire, an extremely good birder in the region, and one of our friends.
How you doing, Captain? You ready to find a Becard?
Good. Yeah, I would love to see him again, especially in the nice adult plumage that it's in now.
Are you
It's a
Captain
pretty looking
Becard?
bird. Captain Becard? No. I'm not lucky with the Becards.
Oh.
In fact, the rose-throated took forever to see that here, like 5 or 6 trips to see it here.
I saw that today.
So, you did. Good.
Second trip.
Good. Excellent.
But we may never see the gray-collared. Even with Captain Becard on our side, this bird was proving to be elusive, and it was starting to get to us. I hate the gray-collared Becard. It's unfindable to us, and Justin's here, and now we're going to split up and try to find it. I do have to say Tropical Parula showed well today, so that was really cool, but the gray-collared Becard, I'm starting to believe that it might not be a bird that we see this trip, which is a bummer, because we have 2 more days to try, but it seems we've been here when it's seen, and you still can't see it. But at least it's beautiful out here now, so that's positive.
It's definitely more birdie today than yesterday.
It is more birdie. There's a lot more to look at, so maybe someone will turn it up, but even if that's the case, I would bet one of us would see it and the other won't unless it sits out, so. After scouring the entire park, eventually we called it quits on day 2. A day later, we yet again arrived around sunup, trying to somehow be in the right place at the right time to finally see this gray-collared Becard.
Good morning. Day 3 at Resaca. Maybe this will be the one. Maybe the 3rd time's the charm.
What's your level of optimism versus pessimism?
I think I'm 20% optimist, 80% pessimist today.
We started the day the same way we had the previous two, checking the tram trail, checking by the feeding station, and scoping out every bird in the trees that looked to be even a remotely similar shape to a Becard. Suddenly, we were alerted to our target bird on the tram trail. When we got there, the bird had just ducked behind the trees. We anxiously waited to see if it would come back out. After a few minutes of waiting, we got a brief glimpse of our lifer Gray-collared Becard.
We were all camped out over by the feeding station, and then somebody waved us over, and we all ran over.
Ty Allen waved us over.
Yeah. So shout out to those guys for finding it on our third day.
We waited around longer, and eventually the Becard did come back into view briefly, before once again disappearing. Finally, got it.
It only took me 4 tries.
This is our third.
We were headed towards your 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is I've seen it twice now.
Oh, well.
But it doesn't get old.
You got it.
Yeah.
And you missed it by 5 minutes the first time.
Yeah.
He just looks relieved.
Hey, that made you happy, huh?
Yeah.
He doesn't look happy. He looks more like he just found out he's not going to jail.
It's kind of the same.
Like some relief.
After finally getting to see this bird that had eluded us for so long, we felt a wave of relief.
Dude, that was a wild morning because we were hanging out at the feeding station. Someone waved us that it was over here. We ran over. I think that maybe the second time I've ever ran for a bird. First time was the flame-colored tanager in Wisconsin. But we got good views of it. It was very quick. I kind of understand why people are only getting a couple second views because it was pretty much fly catching the entire time. And then one of our friends who's here came over and he just missed it, but then it popped out again. So glad that everyone who was here pretty much at least got a view of the bird. A lot of relief, really appreciating the beautiful color. It's a very elegant, very pretty bird.
Now unburdened of our task of finding the Becard, we freely walked around Resaca in search of other birds and the birder who refound the Becard.
Your new buddy?
Yeah, I made best friends with Ty. He's the guy that found it this morning. He's a channel viewer, probable subscriber. I gave him a hug when he found it. I was appreciative. Eventually, we caught up with Ty and discussed what the chaos of the morning was like.
We're here with Ty, our hero of the day, who found the Gray-collared Becard. Ty, what a find. We're appreciative of your efforts.
Oh, my pleasure. Happy I could find it.
Was it just perching up?
It wasn't when we had walked around a little bit in the morning. It wasn't there, and then just watched it perch up in that tree. It just popped up there, and then
And then you got everyone on it quick,
Yeah.
which is huge. Because
Yeah.
I feel like people all the time are like, yeah, I saw it 10 minutes ago, and no one got eyes on it. And I think everyone pretty much got eyes on it. So
Right, yeah, I was really happy for everybody to see it because I saw all y'all coming and we're come on. So
on behalf of the birding world, we thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Right after talking to Ty, we happened to be in the right place to see a small mixed flock of birds, which included some good finds, such as black-throated gray warbler, northern parula, and dusky-capped flycatcher.
Nice little mixed flock. Dusky-capped flycatcher in here. Black-throated gray.
We continued exploring the area to see if the Becard would come back out, but we never relocated it. Either way, we were happy with the morning, and finally getting to see our target bird.
So we stopped by one of the blinds just to get some media of some of the common birds down here that are all really cool to see. We also had a perched up long-billed thrasher that was giving amazing views, so even the stuff that's more common, it's fun to just sit and appreciate it. We also had green jays, white-tipped doves, Altamira orioles. We're going to walk the parking lot for a little bit, see if that Becard's hanging around just for some extra views, but we're super pumped that we were able to get it this morning.
The gray-collared Becard was one of the trickiest birds to find that we had ever searched for. While in the moment we wished it would have been easier to see, the difficulty only made it more memorable in the end. Was there a bird that you spent way more time than you wanted to trying to find? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding.